All right, let's talk about genuine charisma. You know, that unshakable kind. I'm not talking about being loud or flashy. I mean that quiet, solid confidence that just naturally pulls people in. Let's really dig into what that is.
You've met that person, right? Someone who just walks into a room and they have it. There's this relaxed vibe, and people just gravitate towards them. So, what is that really? And how do you get it?
You know, we're always told charisma is about having the slickest lines, the most expensive watch, or just winning the genetic lottery. But come on, you've seen someone try to fake it, and it just falls flat, doesn't it? That stuff is just the window dressing, not the actual source. And that right there, that is the core of what we're talking about today. See, true, lasting charisma isn't a performance you put on. It's a reflection of who you are. It radiates out from a solid, secure, and resilient inner world. So the real question is, how do we build that? Okay, first things first, we have to tear down a huge myth. We see somebody who's socially smooth, and we just assume they're running some kind of complex script or using secret techniques. But really, that's just an illusion. So what this means is we've got to completely flip the script. We're going to stop focusing on the outside in and start working from the inside out. Forget memorizing lines. We're going to build the foundation that makes real, warm, and witty conversation just happen naturally. So let's get into the how. How is this core actually built? This section is all about constructing that inner fortress. And this is where the real work starts, beginning with one of the most powerful ideas in all of social dynamics. Just think about that for a second. Imagine walking into any situation, a date, a job interview, a tough conversation, and being completely free from needing it to go a certain way. No fear of what they'll say, no desperate need for them to like you. That feeling of freedom, that total lack of neediness, that's what people feel as that calm, magnetic energy. And look, these aren't just abstract ideas. They're super practical. It means you stop trying to get a yes, and instead, your new goal is just to be proud of yourself for trying. You start to see every conversation not as a final exam, but just as practice. You truly believe there are millions of opportunities out there, so any single no is, well, it's nothing. And rejection, it's not a judgment on who you are, it's just data for next time. And all of this leads to the absolute bedrock of it all, self-esteem. It's not some personality trait you either have or you don't. It's a structure. It's something you build, one brick at a time, every single day. This sounds almost too simple, right? But this is where the magic is. Self-trust is built on the promises we keep to ourselves. Start small. Promise yourself you'll make your bed, and then do it. Promise you'll take a 10-minute walk, and do it. Every single time you keep a promise to yourself, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are literally building self-respect in real time. Okay, so once that foundation starts getting solid, we can layer on some strategy. And for this next part, we're going to borrow some powerful mindsets from some of the biggest business legends on the planet and see how they apply to our social lives. This is awesome. Think like Warren Buffett. Stop chasing quick hits of validation and start investing in real quality connections. Or how about Steve Jobs? Don't just have a boring conversation. Create an experience, a vibe that makes people feel like they're part of something cool. Joe Girard, the world's greatest car salesman, knew that every no just got him closer to a yes. That's pure resilience. And Richard Branson, his whole brand is adventure and fun. The big takeaway here is that you are your own brand. What message are you sending? Okay, so we've got the internal state locked in. We've got the big picture mindset. But what happens in the moment? You know, when you're actually talking to someone and they throw you a curveball. This right here is a total game changer. When the stakes are high in a conversation, an objection usually isn't a hard no. It's a test. It's a little poke to see if you're the real deal, to see if you get rattled easily. And how you handle it with grace, with humor, that's where the real connection gets built. Ah, the classic, the social shield. You hear it in dating, but you also hear versions of it everywhere, right? We're not hiring. It's not in the budget. It's just a polite barrier. And the normal reaction is to just shut down. But now, look at this response. It's brilliant. You're not arguing, you're not getting defensive, you're agreeing and paying a compliment. This completely diffuses the whole thing and shows you're confident, not needy. It signals that you respect their world, which ironically makes you seem way more interesting and trustworthy. Oof. Okay, this one can sting a little. It feels personal, like a direct shot. It's designed to put you in a box.
And a fragile ego might crumble or get defensive, but an unshakable one, it gets playful. You see what's happening? You're not arguing with their logic. You're just stepping around it entirely and offering a much more interesting idea. This is about refusing to let other people define you. It turns a moment of potential judgment into a chance to show your confidence and your creative spark.
Now, all of this theory is great, but charisma is a skill. It's a muscle, and muscles only get stronger when you actually use them. So where do we go to get our reps in, especially if we don't want to spend a ton of money?
The world is your gym. Seriously, you don't need a loud club or some fancy bar. A park, the grocery store, a coffee shop. These are perfect, low-pressure spots where it's totally normal to have a quick, light chat with someone. So let's just walk through this park playbook. Notice how passive and chill this is. You're not on the hunt, you're just creating a cool little world for yourself. The book makes you seem approachable. The opening lines are light about the here and now. And this last one is key. You exit with grace. Respecting a no is actually one of the most confident things you can possibly do. And ultimately, that's the whole point of the practice. It's not about trying to get a phone number or close a deal. It's about becoming a more interesting, grounded person who is just living their life out in the world. Be the main character in your own movie and just let people get curious about the story.
And that really brings us to the final thought. What if we completely changed the goal of talking to people? What if it wasn't about what you can get, but what you can give? A smile, a genuine laugh, a moment of real connection. When that becomes your goal, all the pressure just melts away. And what's left is that true, effortless charisma we were talking about.